Yes, a very good morning to all my dear students. Today, once again, on behalf of Gruha Mumbai Municipal Corporation Education Department, I welcome you all for the statewide online lectures. Hello, ma'am.
Hello, yes, ma'am.
Yes, it's visible, no?
Yes, it is visible. You are audible also. You can start.
Thank you. Okay, so today we are going to continue with our chapter number 2, that is life processes in living organisms, part first from science part second. Okay, today we are going to cover up the topic that is anaerobic respiration. So let's begin our today's lecture. That is chapter number 2, life processes in living organisms, part 1. So before moving to our today's topic, let us revise what we have learned up till now. We have seen that various organ systems, they are continuously performing their functions in the human body. Along with the various systems like the digestive system, respiratory system, circulatory system, excretory system, and control system, different external and internal organs are performing their functions independently but through a complete coordination. Okay, these all things we have learned, that there are many systems which are working in our body, and these all systems, they are working in coordination with each other with proper functioning. Okay, and for performing all these functions, they require what? They require energy. We have learned what is energy. It is the ability to do work, and every living organism needs the energy to live. Okay, where do we get this energy from? From the sun, either directly, some of them they use it directly, or they use it indirectly. Those organisms which use them directly, they are called as autotrophs, while the others which obtain it from the small creatures, from the other organisms, they are called as the heterotrophs. Then we have learned the different sources of energy, just like proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. These are the different sources of energy. And it is harvested by the mitochondria, which is present in the cell. So it is not like that only foodstuffs are sufficient for the energy, but also the oxygen is being necessary. Okay, because oxygen and nutrients, when they combine together, then there is the release of energy. So all these foodstuffs and oxygen, they are being transported to the cell through circulatory system. Okay, and besides it, it is being coordinated by the control system of the body. It means that each life process contributes in its own way in the process of energy production. So functioning of all these life processes also requires the energy. So human and other animals, they consume the fruits and vegetables. In the other way, the plants, they can produce their own food as they are being autotrophs. So these plants, they utilize some of the food for themselves, whereas the remaining part, it is being stored in the various parts like the fruits, vegetables, stem, roots, etc. Okay. Then we consume all these various plant materials and obtain the different nutrients like the carbohydrates, fats, proteins, vitamins, minerals, etc. Okay. We obtain the carbohydrates from where? From the milk, from the fruits, from jaggery, cane sugar, vegetables, potatoes, sweet meats, cereals like the wheat, maize, ragi, jawar, millet, rice, etc. Okay, and we get nearly 4 kilocalories of energy per gram of carbohydrates. Okay, so in this way we can get the energy from the different food materials. So now let us study the way by which the energy is being obtained. Living organisms and energy production. In living organisms, respiration occurs at two levels. One is called as the body level respiration and the other one is called as the cellular level respiration. So what we have learned, what is the body level respiration? In this respiration, the oxygen and carbon dioxide, they are being exchanged between the body and the surrounding. Then at the cellular level respiration, we have learned that here the foodstuffs, they are being oxidized either with the help of the oxygen or without the help of the oxygen. The carbohydrates of the food that we consume every day, they are being used for the production of energy and it is being obtained in the form of ATP. Okay. So we have learned the structure of ATP. What is ATP? It is adenosine triphosphate molecule. For this purpose, glucose, a type of carbohydrate, is oxidized step by step in the cells. This is called as the cellular respiration. Okay. Then we have learned what the cellular respiration is of two types. One is called as the aerobic respiration and the other one is called as the anaerobic respiration. Means in the presence of air, oxygen and in the absence of oxygen. Okay. So in aerobic respiration, the glucose is oxidized in three steps. The first one, it is called as the glycolysis. What is glycolysis? It is the process which occurs in the cytoplasm. Here, the molecule of glucose, it is being oxidized step by step and two molecules of each, that is pyruvic acid, ATP, NADH2 and water, they are being formed. Okay. The molecules of pyruvic acid which are formed in this process, they are being converted into the molecules of acetyl coenzyme A and the two molecules of NADH2 and two molecules of carbon dioxide, they are being released in this process. Okay, this we have learned. Then in the second step, that is the tricarboxylic acid cycle, here both the molecules of acetyl coenzyme A, they enter the mitochondria. Cyclic chain of reactions called as the tricarboxylic acid cycle is operated on it in the mitochondria. Here the acetyl part of the acetyl coenzyme A is completely oxidized through this cyclical process and the molecules of carbon dioxide, water, NADH2 and FADH2, they are being derived. Then the third step, that is called as the electron transfer chain reaction. The molecules of NADH2 and FADH2 which are formed during all the above processes, they participate in the electron transfer chain reaction and due to this, the three molecules of ATP are obtained from each NADH2 molecule and two molecules of ATP from each FADH2 molecule. Besides ATP, water molecules are also formed in this reaction. So electron transfer chain reaction, it is operated in the mitochondria only. Okay. Thus, a molecule of glucose is completely oxidized in the aerobic respiration and molecules of carbon dioxide and water are produced along with this energy. Okay. Then we have learned what is NADH2. It is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. And what is FADH2? It is flavin adenine dinucleotide. These are the two enzymes which are being formed in the cells and they are being used in the cellular respiration. Then we have seen the ATP, the very important concept, that is the energy which is being there in the cells. Okay, it is called as the energy currency of the cell. So ATP, it can constantly, it regenerates from the ADP, that is adenosine diphosphate, and after that energy it is being expended by the cell. Then there are some advantages of ATP, that it can be used in many types of reactions, and when a ATP is break down into ADP plus P, then there is the release of energy. Then we have learned the structure of ATP. The adenosine triphosphate is the energy rich molecule, and energy is stored in the bonds by which the phosphate groups are attached to each other. Okay. Here the molecules are stored in the cells as per the need. Chemically, ATP is a triphosphate molecule formed from adenosine, that is ribonucleoside. It contains a nitrogenous compound called as the adenine pentose sugar ribose and 3 phosphate groups. As per the need, energy is derived by breaking the phosphate bond of the ATP, and hence ATP is called as the energy currency of the cell. Then yesterday we have seen the EMP pathway, which was being introduced by the 3 great scientists whose name were Gustav Amden, Otto Meyerhof, and Jacob Carol Parnas. On their name, it is being given the name of the glycolysis. It is called as Amden-Meyerhof-Parnas pathway, or it is called as EMP pathway. So here in EMP pathway, what we have learned, that glycolysis is a metabolic pathway that does not require oxygen. In most organisms, glycolysis occurs in the liquid part of the cells, that is the cytosol. The most common type of glycolysis, it is the EMP pathway. For this purpose, the scientists, they have performed the experiment on the muscles. The cyclical reactions of tricarboxylic acid cycle were discovered later on by the Sir Hans Krebs. Then here in the EMP pathway, the glycolytic pathway whereby the glucose is metabolized and converted into pyruvate and results in a gain of ATP and NADH molecules. Okay, what happens here in the EMP pathway? The glucose, it gets metabolized and it gets converted into pyruvate, and finally there is the release of ATP molecule and NADH molecules. Okay. The EMP pathway is the most common and well-known type of sugar degradation. Okay, it is well known, and here there is the degradation of sugar takes place. It makes use of glucose, which is converted to a series of intermediates and finally to pyruvate. Here you can see that the glucose, it is being used up and it is being converted into a series of intermediates, and finally the product is given as pyruvate. The EMP pathway yields 2 NADH molecules and 4 ATP molecules per glucose. Okay, it is very important. How many molecules of NADH? That is 2. And ATP molecules are how much? That is 4 per glucose. In this pathway, 2 pyruvate molecules and 2 water molecules can be expected for every glucose molecule. The pyruvate is converted to acetyl coenzyme to enter the next stage of cellular respiration, that is called as the Krebs cycle. Okay, the pyruvate, which is being converted to acetyl coenzyme, it then enters to the next stage, that is called as the Krebs cycle. This cyclical process, which is called as the Krebs cycle, it was being discovered by the Sir Hans Krebs, and he has been awarded the Nobel Prize in 1953 for his discovery. Okay. Then we have learned the aerobic respiration, how the process of energy production takes place through aerobic respiration of carbohydrates, proteins and fats. Okay, how the energy is being produced through aerobic respiration of carbohydrates, proteins and fats. So this can be explained with the help of this flow chart. Okay, so one by one we will see. Firstly, we will see only of carbohydrates. So just concentrate on carbohydrates. Carbohydrates like the glucose, they are being oxidized to pyruvic acid. The pyruvic acid is converted to acetyl coenzyme A, which is oxidized through the Krebs cycle. Okay, what happens here? The carbohydrates like the glucose, it is being oxidized and it is being converted to pyruvic acid, and this pyruvic acid is further converted into acetyl coenzyme A, and this acetyl coenzyme A, it is oxidized through the Krebs cycle, and the molecules of NADH2 produced during this oxidation, they are through the electron transfer chain reaction, and then finally there is the release of energy. Okay, see one by one. Firstly, the carbohydrate like the glucose, they are being oxidized to pyruvic acid. Then this pyruvic acid, it is being converted into acetyl coenzyme A, which is oxidized through the Krebs cycle, and the molecules of NADH2 which are being produced during this oxidation through the electron transfer chain reaction, and finally there is the release of energy, or we can say that the energy is being obtained. Okay, then the second one, that is the proteins. The proteins are digested to amino acids and are converted to acetyl coenzyme A. Here you can see the flow chart that the proteins, firstly they are being digested to amino acids and they are being converted to acetyl coenzyme A. This acetyl coenzyme A is oxidized through Krebs cycle. Okay, this acetyl coenzyme A, which is being formed, it is being oxidized with the help of the Krebs cycle, and the molecules of NADH2 which are produced during this, they are being oxidized through the electron transfer chain reaction, and finally there is the release of energy. Okay, see one by one. Firstly, the proteins, they are being digested to amino acids. Then these amino acids are being converted to acetyl coenzyme A, and this conversion is done through the Krebs cycle, and the molecules of NADH2 which are produced during this, they are being oxidized through the electron transfer chain reaction, and finally there is the release of energy. Then how the lipids produce energy, let us see. The lipids are converted to fatty acids, and fatty acids are further converted into acetyl coenzyme A. This acetyl coenzyme A, it is oxidized by the process of Krebs cycle, and there is the release of energy. Okay, it is very simple that firstly the lipids, they get converted into fatty acids. Fatty acids are further converted into acetyl coenzyme A, and this acetyl coenzyme A, it is being oxidized with the process of Krebs cycle, and there is the release of energy. So in this way, the carbohydrates, proteins and fats, they are capable of producing the energy through what? Through the aerobic respiration, means in the presence of oxygen, they are capable of producing energy. I hope that you all have understood this. Then to our today's point, we will move on the anaerobic respiration. Firstly, I have explained you what is anaerobic. Anaerobic means the respiration which occurs in the absence of oxygen. Okay. See here. Some organisms cannot live in presence of oxygen. Okay, see what? Some organisms, they are unable to survive in the presence of oxygen. For example, many of the bacteria. Okay, so such organisms have to perform anaerobic respiration, okay, for energy production. I have already explained you that the cellular respiration takes place in two ways. The one is called as the aerobic respiration, means it takes place in the presence of oxygen, whereas in some of the living organisms, they cannot survive, they cannot live in the presence of oxygen. So what they do, they perform the anaerobic respiration for obtaining energy. So glycolysis and fermentation. Glycolysis and fermentation are the two steps of anaerobic respiration. Okay, which are the two steps of anaerobic respiration? One is one is glycolysis and the other one is fermentation. Glucose is completely oxidized and less amount of energy is obtained in this type of respiration. Okay, here the glucose, it is incompletely oxidized. It is not being oxidized properly. It is incomplete. Incomplete oxidation of glucose takes place here, and because of which less amount of energy is being obtained. Okay. The pyruvic acid produced through glycolysis is converted into other organic acids or alcohol with the help of some enzymes in this process. What? The pyruvic acid, which is being produced through glycolysis, it is converted into other organic acids or alcohol. Okay, here you can see that glucose, firstly it is being oxidized to pyruvic acid. So this pyruvic acid is further, it is being converted into organic acids or it is being converted into alcohol, okay, with the help of enzymes. This is called as fermentation. What it is called? It is called as the fermentation. Here you can see on the flow chart, it is simply indicated pyruvic acid, fermentation, it forms lactic acid, erythrocytes and muscle cells. And here this side, if you see the pyruvic acid, it is being through the fermentation process, it forms the alcohol like the with the help of the yeast. Okay. So some higher plants, animals and aerobic microorganisms also perform anaerobic respiration instead of aerobic respiration if there is a depletion in oxygen level in the surrounding. See, it is very interesting. What? That we say just now that the cellular respiration takes place in two ways, aerobic and anaerobic. While in some of the cases, some higher plants and animals and some of the aerobic microorganisms also, what they do, they perform the anaerobic respiration. Why? Because if there is a depletion in the oxygen level, if there is a less percentage of oxygen level, then what they do, they go for anaerobic respiration. Okay. So let us see the example of this. Seeds perform anaerobic respiration if the soil is submerged underwater during germination. Okay, what happens? The seeds, they can perform the anaerobic respiration in the soil if the soil is submerged under water. Okay, and during the germination, and if they are not able to get the oxygen, so what they do, they choose the anaerobic respiration method. Understood? Similarly, our muscle cells, they also perform the anaerobic respiration while performing the exercise, and due to this less amount of energy is produced in our body and lactic acid, it accumulates due to which we feel tired. Yes or no? While performing the exercises, it happens that we get tired. Why is it so? Because our muscle cells, what they do, they perform the anaerobic respiration while doing the exercises. And due to this, what happens? The less amount of energy it is being produced in our body, and the lactic acid, it gets collected, it gets accumulated in the body, and due to which we feel tired. Okay, so these two questions, they are very very important. The first one, that is of the seeds, why the seeds they perform the anaerobic respiration, and this that how our, why do we feel will we feel tired while doing the exercise. So these two questions can be asked in the give reason. Okay, so these are very very important. So now see here, there is a comparison between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. First, cellular respiration, organic compounds through glycolysis, they are being converted into pyruvic acid plus ATP is being released. Aerobic respiration, it forms carbon dioxide plus water, and there is the release of ATP. Here in the case of fermentation, the organic compounds undergo glycolysis. They form the pyruvic acid plus the ATP molecule, and anaerobic pathways, they produce lactic acid, ethyl alcohol, or other compounds. So this is the flow chart outline both the anaerobic and the aerobic catabolism of glucose. Okay, see here. See here the glucose, how it is being. Firstly, the conversion of glucose to pyruvate molecules, it is collectively called as the glycolysis. It occurs within the cytoplasm of the cell and it does not need oxygen. Okay, so this is the anaerobic respiration, right? Here this side you can see down that anaerobic fermentation, it is lactic acid fermentation and alcohol fermentation, right? Then here you can see there is lactate and ethanol. These molecules, they are formed by accepting the electrons from the NADH to recycle the NAD plus back into glycolysis. Only produce 2 ATP from glycolysis. This was about anaerobic fermentation. And here this side you can see aerobic cellular respiration. 1 carbon dioxide and 1 NADH per pyruvate converted. Okay. The glucose, firstly it is being oxidized to pyruvate. The pyruvate gets converted into 2-acetyl coenzyme A. Then the acetyl coenzyme A, it undergoes through the Krebs cycle and through the electron transport chain, and oxidative phosphorylation occurs in the cristae of mitochondria. Okay, and there is, you can see that 34 ATP molecules, they are being produced, and this ATP, it is produced from H plus gradient, which is produced by electron transport chain. Okay. Now here this is the distinguish between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. It is very very important. Okay. Firstly, we will see the first point, comparison between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration, it takes place in presence of oxygen. Yes, right? And the anaerobic respiration, it does not require oxygen. Okay, it is possible without the oxygen. Okay. Then the second point, The aerobic respiration, it releases carbon dioxide. Okay, what it releases? It releases carbon dioxide. Whereas in case of anaerobic respiration, it may or may not release the carbon dioxide. Okay, it is not necessary, it is not compulsory that there will be the formation, there will be the release of carbon dioxide. It may or it may not release the carbon dioxide. Then the third point, here in the aerobic respiration, it provides much more energy, that is 38 ATP molecules, they are being formed. Okay, so it is providing a lot of energy. Whereas here in case of anaerobic respiration, it provides less energy, just 2 ATP molecules. Okay, there is no much more release of energy in case of anaerobic respiration. Then in case of aerobic respiration, it occurs both in cytoplasm, that is glycolysis, and in the mitochondria through the Krebs cycle and the electron transport chain. Okay, it occurs both in the cytoplasm as well as in the mitochondria. In the cytoplasm, it takes place through glycolysis, whereas in case of mitochondria, it takes place through Krebs cycle and the electron transport chain. Here, in case of anaerobic respiration, it takes place in the cytoplasm, certain tissues, and the cells of higher animals. Okay, where it takes place, this anaerobic respiration, it takes place in the cytoplasm, in certain tissues, and the cells of higher animals. What are the examples of aerobic respiration? In most of the plants and the animals, the aerobic respiration takes place. Okay, many of the plants and animals, they perform the aerobic respiration. Whereas in case of anaerobic respiration, what are the examples? In anaerobic bacteria, yeast, mussels, and parasitic worms like Ascaris, Fasciola, Tini, and germinating seeds. Okay, these are the examples of anaerobic respiration. I hope that you have understood what are the distinguished points between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. These are very important. You can take the screenshot of it. Okay, most likely questions can be asked on this point, that is aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Once again, we will see these 5 points. Firstly, first point, that aerobic respiration, it takes place in the presence of oxygen, whereas the anaerobic respiration, it does not require the oxygen. Then we have seen that the aerobic respiration, it always releases carbon dioxide, whereas the anaerobic respiration, it may or may not release the carbon dioxide. Then aerobic respiration, it provides much more amount of energy, that is near about 38 ATP molecules, they are being formed. Okay, whereas in case of anaerobic respiration, it provides very less amount of energy, that is just 2 ATP molecules. Then we have seen the fourth point, that it occurs both in cytoplasm as well as in the mitochondria. In the cytoplasm, it occurs through glycolysis, whereas in case of mitochondria, it occurs through the Krebs cycle and the electron transport chain. Then here in this case of anaerobic respiration, it takes place in the cytoplasm, certain tissues, and the cells of the higher animals. Okay, where it takes place? It takes place in the cytoplasm, then in certain tissues, and in the cells of higher animals. Then what are the examples of aerobic respiration? It is occurring in most of the plants as well as in case of animals. Whereas The anaerobic respiration, it is being followed by the bacterias, yeast, mussels, and parasitic worms like the Ascaris, Fasciola, and Tinea, and germinating seeds. Okay. So I hope that you all have understood what we have learned today. The aerobic respiration, the anaerobic respiration. Okay. Before this, we have seen a small revision. Just I will just revise what things we have learned. We have seen the different life processes which are taking place in the living organism, and for performing these life processes the energy is being needed. Energy is being supplied in the form of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, right? Then this nearly about the carbohydrates, they provide about 4 kilocalories of energy per gram. Okay. So the carbohydrates are being very essential for the release of energy. Then we have seen that the living organisms, which kind of respiration takes place? The respiration is of two types. One is called as the body level respiration and the other one is called as the cellular level respiration. The body level, it takes place between the body and the surrounding, whereas the cellular respiration, it is possible in two ways, in the presence of oxygen and in the absence of oxygen. Presence, when it takes place in the presence of oxygen, then it is called as the aerobic respiration, whereas when the cellular respiration takes place in the absence of oxygen, then it is called as the anaerobic respiration. Then we have learned the aerobic respiration. It occurs in three steps: glycolysis, tricarboxylic acid cycle, and the electron transfer chain reaction. Okay. Then we have learned what is the ATP molecule. ATP is called as the energy currency of the cell. Okay. Why? Because in the ATP molecule, the bonds between the phosphate groups, they contain the energy. And whenever the cell requires the energy, the bond is being broken. Okay. And when the bond is broken, there is the release of energy. So it is called as the energy currency of the cell. Okay. As like we are having the ATM cards, right? So whenever we need money, what we do, we just insert the ATM card and we get the money from our bank, right? Whatever the amount we save, so we can use it. So in the same way, the ATP molecule, it is called as the energy currency of the cell. Why? Because it provides the energy to the cell whenever the cell requires it. Okay. Then we have seen the great scientists, which were the three great scientists: Gustav Emden, Otto Meyerhof, and Jacob Furness. What they have done, they have introduced the EMP pathway, which explains us about the process of glycolysis. Okay. Then this pathway, it is also called as the EMP pathway, or it is also called as the Emden-Meyerhof-Furness pathway. Okay. Then the cyclic reaction of tricarboxylic acid cycle, which was being introduced by Sir Hans Krebs. Okay. And this cyclical process, it is called as the Krebs cycle, and the scientist Sir Hans Krebs was being awarded with the Nobel Prize for his discovery in the year 1953. Okay. Then we have learned the process of energy production through aerobic respiration of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. How it takes place, how the carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, how they produce the energy through the aerobic respiration. Then the last point, we have learned the anaerobic respiration in living organisms and in cells. So in the anaerobic respiration, the glucose undergoes glycolysis and fermentation. These are the two processes. The glucose, it is being either it undergoes the glycolysis or it undergoes the fermentation. Okay. So this glycolysis and fermentation, these are the two steps of anaerobic respiration. So here the pyruvic acid, it undergoes fermentation, it forms alcohol, or in case of on the other side you can see that the pyruvic acid, it undergoes fermentation and it can form lactic acid. Okay. So it is either being converted into organic acids or it is being converted into alcohol with the help of the enzymes. So this is process, it is called as the fermentation. Whereas the glycolysis, it undergoes, it forms pyruvic acid, then it undergoes fermentation and it forms the different products like the vinegar, vitamins, etc. with the help of various microbes. Okay. Then we have seen that the seeds, they perform the anaerobic respiration if the soil is submerged under the water during the germination. And one more example we have seen that our muscles, they are capable of performing the anaerobic respiration while performing the exercise. Due to this, what happens? The less amount of energy is being produced in our body and lactic acid, it gets accumulated and due to which we feel tired. Okay. So I have completed the topic. I hope that you all have understood it very well. Okay. So just we will go for a small assignment. So students, those who know the answer, they can raise their hand, they can unmute themselves and they can give the answers. Okay. Just 3 questions are there. So we will finish off. The first question is, what do you mean by anaerobic respiration? Can anyone tell me what is anaerobic respiration? Yes? Students, you can unmute yourself and give the answer. Hello, ma'am.
Hello. Students, unmute yourself. Mohammad Saif, Samir Khan, unmute yourself to answer.
Just on your mic so that you will be able to give the answer.
Ma'am,
Yes.
anaerobic expiration, in anaerobic respiration, glucose is breakdown into oxygen. The chemical reaction transfer energy from glucose to the cell. In the anaerobic respiration, the process in which the glucose is breakdown into oxygen.
Okay. Okay, very good.
Yes, ma'am.
Uh,
That's what I understand it in the
okay,
lecture.
fine. Yes, very good.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, so who can give me the second answer? Which are the 2 types of anaerobic fermentation? Which are the 2 types of anaerobic fermentation? See, the question is, which are the 2 types of anaerobic fermentation? Yes, unmute yourself and give the answer quickly.
Students, unmute yourself first.
Hello.
Yes, tell me. Yes, give the answer. I can hear you.
alcoholic fermentation and lactic acid fermentation.
Very good. Alcoholic fermentation and lactic acid fermentation. These are the two types of anaerobic fermentation. Very good. Next, the last question. What is the chemical formula for ethanol? Do you know this? What is the chemical formula for ethanol? This you have learnt in the 9th standard as well. So you should know this. What is the chemical formula for ethanol? Yes, unmute yourself and give the answer.
Teacher, C2H5OH.
Very good. C2H5OH. Absolutely right. Very good. So thank you everyone. Yes, ma'am, I have completed.
Students, for today, we'll meet again on Monday. Safe at home and do your revision. That's taught today for all the 4 lectures. Thank you, friends. Thank you again. I'll end up the session.